Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have our North Dakota Yoga Conference teacher feature, Brenda Stone.
Hello.
There she is. Hey. So Brenda lives and teaches in Bismarck at Yoga for You. And she's been teaching and sharing her knowledge of yoga and Ayurveda since 2011. And she's been practicing yoga since 1999 to help resolve some health issues that she was struggling with. Since she has achieved her 200-hour RYT yoga certification, she's been doing continuing education and also training other yoga teachers. Recently, she received her certification as an Ayurvedic consultant through the Chopra Center. Ayurveda has added a new dimension to her life, and she wants to empower others so they can benefit from a healthier lifestyle. Her continued inspiration comes from the students and her teachers who have helped her on this amazing path. Brenda is also one of the other co-founders of the North Dakota Yoga Conference. So thanks for being here, Brenda.
Thank you, Allison. Nice to see you.
You too. We talk pretty often.
Yeah. Usually talk. We don't often see each other.
That is true. That is true. So Brenda's going to be teaching a class on Saturday at 2:15, and It's going to be an introduction to Ayurveda. Mm-hmm. So I really wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about what is Ayurveda and who would benefit from this class. So maybe let's start with, what is Ayurveda?
Well, Ayurveda, the reason I got interested in it is Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old, basically scientifically proven method of keeping the body healthy. We want optimum health in our body. And so eating the proper foods, having a routine, knowing about our environment, all of that, everything that's around us, it makes up what we are and affects who we are and what we are. And so it's optimum health, basically. And through the Chopra Center, he calls it perfect health. And, we know there's no perfection in everything, but he's trying to strive for that. And it's been a wonderful journey taking the classes through the Chopra Center. Most of it is online. There was a 1-week intensive for it in California, which was absolutely wonderful. But what it really is it's this, I'm trying to get going here. It's also the sister science to yoga. And that's how I got interested in it. My mentor, Bonnie Torrance, who is also, she passed away a few years ago, and her sister-in-law and brother are the sponsors for the scholarship. And she was my mentor. And she told me about Ayurveda, and I went, I wonder what that's all about. So I started looking into it. And, at the time that I looked into it, about 5 years ago, there was hardly anything you could do. I learned most of it from Bonnie when I took over the studio in 2011. It was quite interesting to try and find a place that I could learn anything about it. Now, there are some places out there on the internet. I just wanted to go with somebody reputable. Prior to the Chopra Center, I actually did a small class. It lasted, I think it was about 2 months, and it was a weekly class through the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. And that class, it was very good and really brought the basics. I did not realize I was going to be a human guinea pig for myself. And that was basically what it is we learn through what we do for ourselves. And same thing with the Chopra Center. But when I went through those 2 months, it was amazing. My body changed. My mind started changing. How I was feeling about things. My emotions started changing, all in a positive. Especially my body. For almost all my life, I've always been thin, but I always had a belly. And I could never get rid of that belly. It was like, what is with this? And it was because I was eating the wrong foods. I thought eating salads was the way to go. But really, in all actuality, I was eating the wrong foods at the wrong times of year. Salads are great in the summer. You should not be eating them in the winter because they're too cold. They don't metabolize in the body. Therefore, the nutrients aren't getting into the body, and you get a little bloating, and you got problems, and you've got inflammation, basically. And talking about inflammation, I think, to give you a little insight also about why it's so important to, watch what we eat. I don't want to say watch what we eat. I don't always watch what I eat. It's not a diet. It is a lifestyle. And it's not a bad one. I still have pizza from time to time. I still have ice cream from time to time. I've just been able to have a little bit more willpower sometimes. And my stomach is flat. It's amazing. And I can move better. I also had a lot of joint pain. And when I was going to the chiropractor, every 2 weeks, several years ago, it was like, am I always going to have this pain? And they said, oh yeah, because, some people have heart disease, you've got, joint pain. And I went, oh, okay. So I accepted that. No, I was eating the wrong kind of food. So I had inflammation in my body that was creating this joint pain. I can move around like nobody's business now, and I'm older, which is wonderful in the sense that I'm in better shape now than I was, 10, 15 years ago. My body moves better. Of course, yoga helps a lot. It keeps the fluids, the synovial fluid in the joints and everything moving around. But it's really all about keeping the inflammation down in the body. And if you're eating properly, you can keep that inflammation down.
I really like what you said, that it's about keeping down the inflammation, and it's about eating the right foods at the right time.
Yes.
And the personalization, what's right for you. It's not just like, okay, eat salads and eat fruit and that's it. It's about, here's what's going to work best for you and your body. Right. And this is the time you should eat it, the time of day, the time of year, so that what you should eat at the proper times is important. So that was great. And that's amazing. Less joint pain.
Oh yeah.
It's flatter stomach with still eating pizza, not torturing yourself every single day.
Exactly. I have one girlfriend, she told me the only way she could get out of bed is have 2 Aleve every morning. And I just can't go there. I'm like, why do we want to do this to ourselves? And I found I don't have to. I still have a lot of pain. I kind of joke with my students in the studio when I'm teaching, is I heard this many years ago. I think maybe even Bonnie said it, is the best yoga instructor is the one that has the most problems. Because we know how to fix things. And so I'll go through, I've got 3 whiplashes. I had a rotator cuff. I had a torn meniscus. I've got L4 and L5 are really, really close and really, really tight together. All of that. And, and I'll go through everything. I've had plantar fasciitis, but I've learned how to work with them. And now that I know more about my food intake and how I'm eating and processing the food. And that is really what I'm going to be talking a lot about at my session at the yoga conference. People are starting to understand that Ayurveda is out there, and they're learning about their doshas. And so we will talk about the 3 doshas, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. There are so many ways of, one thing that the people at the Chopra Center, and I was taught by all doctors. That's another thing. This is not just a whimsical thing. This is doctor proven, and they're scientifically proven. They are now doing scientific studies on why all of this works. And he has given all this material to me, so I can share it with people. So, if somebody has a question, if I don't have the answer or they want scientific proof on it, I can probably find it amongst all that paperwork. But yeah, it's rather interesting because we have a lot going on in our bodies. We're all about chemistry in our bodies. So the one thing that is really interesting is, why are Americans so obese, and why are we struggling when we're one of the richest countries with being dehydrated and overweight? One of the reasons I feel, and this is a personal thing, but if you think about it, it makes sense. I've gone to Italy. I'm part Italian. When I was there, the food didn't bother me at all. I could eat anything. We were eating pizzas, we were eating pastas. I did not gain a pound. It was amazing. Breads, everything that I can't eat in the United States. One thing is, first of all, is they raise their wheat differently out there. Our wheat is overprocessed, unless you're buying ancient grains, or if you want to go with gluten-free. I am gluten-free in a sense, but I look for ancient grains more so now, because the gluten-free, they add more sugar and salt to it to make it tastier. So that makes it kind of difficult. But when I was in Italy, it just opened my eyes. So why are Italians not obese? Why are French not obese? Why are people in Japan and China not obese? It's because they're eating the food that their ancestors ate and that they grow on their land. Here in the United States, we are a melting pot of all these different nationalities. I am three different nationalities. And so, what foods am I supposed to be eating? And so the Ayurvedic way of looking at the body and picking out the chemistry that's going to work with your body, using the doshas, which is our constitution, our body makeup, it helps. So a quiz that you would take to find out what your dosha type is. It is a quiz. I've seen them very long. I've seen them, several pages long. I've seen others at the Chopra Center. It's 1 page. And it's basically, what kind of hair do you have? Like I got, coarse, thick, curly hair. This is all natural, by the way. It's very curly. It's very humid outside right now. What kind of skin do you have? Is your skin thin? Is it thick? What kind of eyes do you have? Do you have large eyes? I have large eyes. Things like that. That's what they're looking at. And then once they get that gives you your natural state of being. And that is where you were when you were first born. After that, we get these imbalances. Because, and if you look, another thing which is very interesting is, in a family, all the family members are usually the same size. You'll see a large mom and a large dad, and the kids are large because they're all eating the same food. They're not eating for their body type. So, and that's the one point I'd like to make also is, like you said, Allison, this is personalized. We are as individual about our food as our thumbprint is. And that's what we do with Ayurveda, is we individualize it completely for that person. And I've given a couple of courses here in Bismarck, and they were 4-week courses. And at the end of 4 weeks, one gal said she dove right into it, and she said, I lost 8 pounds and didn't even think about it. She was not in it to lose the weight, but she did lose the weight. Others have, found that one lady said that she was actually feeling better. She had more stamina, less fatigue, and that will happen. So there's what I'm actually going to be talking about, using some Sanskrit words, is our Agni. Agni means our stomach, how our stomach feels, and how it feels after we've eaten. And if there's Ama, which Ama is the bad Agni, basically, or if we've got Ojas, which is the good Agni. So we're going to be talking about that. I'll explain that more in the class, but you can actually recognize it. Just give you an example. Bad Ama might be bad breath. It might be body odor, things like that. It depends on your dosha, what creeps up. And once we figure these kind of things out, if you can stop it at that point, there are 6 stages to dis-ease. And if we can stop it at the first stage, then you're not going to travel along and possibly get that bad disease, such as, if like a pitta. A pitta might have bad breath and body odor and go, well, that's just me. That's my personality, blah, 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 whatever. That's my physical makeup. Well, not necessarily. You can stop that by changing the different types of food. It might be as small as not eating spinach, but eating carrots. It might be that simple. And if you do that, you might be able to sidestep something like diverticulitis, which is very serious. So that is what I'm going to be talking about at our class. And as you can see, I'm very excited about it. And I love to help people with it. It's actually frustrating when people go, oh yeah, that's poppycock. I go, okay, well, let's move on. But, for people that are interested in having a better a healthier lifestyle, Ayurveda is very easy to do once you figure it out. And once you're able, and I don't use a lot of the Sanskrit because I think some people get lost with that. But I will be talking about those because there's really no other words for it. It's just what it is. And it is 5,000 years old, and it's a proven science.
Yeah, I love that. So I think you brought up a few really good points that, who is this for? Anyone who's living with dis-ease, whether it's body odor, bad breath, skin issues, acne. I mean, some of these things that Ayurveda talks about, we actually do naturally. Like people say, whenever you're breaking out, stop eating greasy foods. Yeah. That's exactly what Ayurveda says. So some of these things we naturally use. So sorry, going back, but people with skin disease or any kind of ailments, the gas and bloating, diverticulitis, joint pain, lethargy, extreme fatigue. Your food is, your fuel. It's the fuel in your tank. And so what you're putting in, how you're putting it in, when you're putting it in, makes a difference on how it comes out.
Yes.
Exactly. So I mean, this class can be for anyone who's living with some of those dis-ease, especially some of the chronic things that keep coming up for you. So
there's an old quote that says, "We are what we eat." Well, the Chopra Center has changed that a little bit. It is, we are what we digest. Yes. Because we can't digest everything that we eat. And the other piece of it is we are what we digest. How do we digest our environment? So that's another aspect of it. I won't go into that too much. Actually, I think Marcia from Minneapolis, I think she's going to be going into that aspect of it. So if you're really interested in Ayurveda, you got 2 really good instructors going to be talking about it. And you'll have 2, she and I have talked so that we will give different views of different parts of it. Now, I've been getting my training for the past 9 months. I'm done finally. It's been an incredible journey, but that's how much information there is. And but you take little steps. That's another thing. Just little changes. Maybe start on meditation. Maybe just change one food. I actually have food guidelines that I can actually give out, and they are from the Institute of Ayurveda in California. And I've asked them if I can give those out. They said, you're more than welcome to give those out. They're not a comprehensive listing of all the foods for each dosha, but they do definitely help out. And if somebody were to stick by that, they would get a lot healthier. I certainly did.
Yeah. So do you have a resource so people could maybe take a dosha quiz before the conference?
Well, I would love to give them that. If they want to email me at B.
Or how about, do you have a link? that I could put in the comments below this video?
I could do that. I can send that over to you. Definitely.
That'd probably be even easier.
Yes. Yes, I can do that. So
awesome.
Yeah, and that will help them find out what their doshas are. And if you want to do a little research on your own, go into the internet. There's a plethora of information out there on Ayurveda nowadays. And they are welcome to call me at Yoga for You. I mean, seriously, I'll answer the questions.
Yeah, you like talking about this stuff.
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to include that link right below the comments or in the comments of this video. So excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I know that this is going to be such a great opportunity for anyone who's suffering from some of that disease to learn about fuel for their body and lifestyle as well, especially with Marcy's class. So
yes, definitely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here,
Brenda. Appreciate it so much.
I'll be talking to you more, and I can't wait to see you in October.
We'll see you in October. Bye, everyone.
Bye.